We're here. It's Monday. It's gloomy in Melbourne. And the gloomy skies, the clouds rather, circling around the Melbourne Football Club at the moment. Squandered one yesterday against Port Adelaide. This is, of course, the review show with Adrian Horton. Cade McDonald joins me. Same old script, Kados. And you said it to me off air. Predictable.
Yeah, incredibly predictable. I guess, I don't know, like I'm starting to sound saltier and saltier when I talk on the platforms that I talk on, which is mainly my own Instagram or a little bit of ball magnets.
Channel 7.
Every week. Oh, geez, they wouldn't let me loose on Channel 7. I'd say some awful things about the footy club at the moment. But yeah, it's like I'm sounding bitter and salty. But the way I see it is we're beating ourselves. Teams aren't beating us. So I almost get into that mode that the ego gets struck and you don't want to credit Port. You don't want to credit St Kilda like with their wins recently because it almost feels like, oh, you're lucky that it's self-inflicted, the result we got. So I got to let that go because obviously the power did a great job to get the job done. And Georgiades was amazing and Horn Francis is a freak and their backline tore us up. So there's enough in it to give the nod to Port Adelaide, but there's that sort of stubborn person in me that knows we're better than this and it gets frustrated with these results.
Yes. I prefaced it to you before we started recording. I could and most definitely will sound like a broken record. I will be talking about the same shit I have spoken about for years. Our Achilles heel, our inside 50 connection, not good enough. Our goal kicking exploits, not good enough. Our general field kicking and general decision making, not good enough. We are a fierce outfit. We're a combative outfit. I've never, ever questioned the endeavor, the intent. These blokes give effort, maximum effort. You can see that. They just lack so much polish in the areas of modern footy that are so important now and have been for quite some time. And to rip this one off Demonland, I thought this was absolutely superb. It's, whilst the modern game is made for pianists, we have all the piano lifters. And it's so true. So that one was from Rab D. Nesbitt. So that is amazing. And
that is amazing.
what an analogy. I absolutely love it. And a follow-up, Deceiving, one of the members on Demonland as well, said, we are all force and no finesse. So, yeah, it's absolutely spot on. It's why we're losing games of football that we shouldn't lose. We can sit here and wax lyrical about how good we are at winning the ball at the source, contested possessions, clearance, inside 50s. It means nothing if you can't score. And again yesterday, we kicked 9-14. Port Adelaide kicked 14-9. And we're having the same conversation that we've had for many, many years now, and we have not fixed it. And in the last 3 weeks, we're running at 26-46 goals and behinds. That is disgusting. That is so bad. So bad to the point where I sat there last night, Kados, with Marker and Richie. Shout out to those two great men. And we ended up putting the 2021 grand final on as well. We were drowning sorrows last night because the season is effectively ended in terms of our finals chances. And it was almost like a bit of a shrug of the shoulders where we were like, you know what? What can you do? Like, as supporters, we sit back, we pay our hard-earned, we watch them go about it, we see them cracking in the third quarter. We've got all the momentum. It looks like we're about to take the lead. We've got a stranglehold on the opposition. We give up a red time goal. We gave up red time goals in every single junction. Fucking madness. And we all just said to each other when we're dissecting it yesterday after the game, we're like it's almost comical now. We're almost laughing about it because it actually defies logic that we continuously keep doing the same thing. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. And it means we're an average footy team. Until we fix it, we will remain average. And it just is what it is.
Yeah. You sort of mesmerised me there with your words. I think you've nailed it. Like, I expect better and I hope for better. And every game we go into, I hope that we fix all the issues that we've got, and they feel fixable, but they don't seem to get fixed. And, I don't know, when we were 0-5, I didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I didn't think we were too far away, and then it clicked for a patch. And I knew that 0-5 didn't represent where we were at as a footy club, and I knew winning 5 of 6 didn't represent where we were at as a footy club. And I still think we're going to drop easy ones and we're going to win a couple of rippers on the way home. Like, that's just the team we are. We're so inconsistent. But I don't know where we go now, because what's frustrating is we're really healthy at the moment, and we've got everyone available, but there's some people in positions that aren't contributing well enough. So it's like, do you back them in to get better? Like that, the midfield is like, they did well in clearance and whatnot, but we just look more polished with Trent Rivers and Cozzy in there.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating that they're getting rotated out for stalwarts of the footy club that aren't quite adding that polish that those blokes are adding. And then it's all across the park. Like, defensively, Stephen May has been amazing for years, but and he has been good. Like, he takes great intercept marks, but he's conceding goals that he wouldn't have conceded in the last few years. So, in my head, we're not replacing Stephen May with Tommy Mack, probably, but do we bring Tommy Mack into the 22 and have him up forward? But if Stephen May needs a chop out, send him back. Like, we've got issues up in the forward line that could be fixed with an extra tall, but we're not willing to bring the extra tall in. The small ball is like, it'll win random games every now and again. Like, we'll beat Freo with it, and we'll beat the Lions with the small ball, or whatever the case may be. But we'll have the small ball lineup, but we don't play to the advantage. Like, if we mongrel punted front punts into the forward line, it would make more sense than bombing it long. And if Jake Melksham was 6'5", he'd be the best key forward in the comp. He competes so well. He takes marks where he's out of his weight class, but it's just not a method that is sustainable. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we're tiny in the front half of the ground and we're bombing it in. And I do understand, like, bombing it in at times to get that field position in the pocket, to get repeat entries and repeat stoppages. But, oh my God, the way we went in on the weekend was the worst it's ever been.
It's just madness. When are you going to learn, Melbourne? When are you going to fix this? We're so sick of it. So sick of it as supporters. And yes, you might sit there, Kados, and go, I'm being a bit salty, I'm being a bit bitter. The reality is, Melbourne, with the talent on your list, the blend of experience and youth, you are better than Port Adelaide. You are better than St Kilda. You should be fucking beating them. You are better than North Melbourne. We rolled over, and that was very uncharacteristic of a Simon Goodwin team, to be honest, because typically we play right till the end. The Essendon loss, looking back on that one, that was a shocker as well. We've had some deplorable losses this year through faults of our own. You can sit here and go, maybe because we're too close to it, we are overestimating this team and this club, and that's fair, and there's probably something in that, I think. But the reality is, we just serve games to teams on a silver platter. We do all this hard work. It's all huff and puff with no end product. And I think the passage of play that summed up Melbourne in a nutshell for me was when Christian Petrarca, we're on a break, beautiful play down the line, beautiful ball movement. Christian Petrarca doesn't kick the ball to the advantage of Jake Melksham. It goes down the other end. Port get a goal out of it. McVie gives up a stupid follow-up free kick. They get another goal. It's a 3-goal turnaround? Is that the best way to talk about it? Because instead of it being a 1-point lead to Melbourne, it ended up being a 13-point lead to Port Adelaide. Honestly, like, it's beyond a joke. There's just too many times where we find new ways with forward half territory, with total contested possession, clearance dominance, to absolutely butcher chances, opportunities. There are so many of them. I could run through them at will. We could speak about all of the different opportunities we had in the third quarter. We've got players that are having snaps from 15, 20 metres and they're not even making the distance. We've got guys that a simple screw around the corner kick and he hits it inside the near goalpost. Like, you're professional AFL footballers. Your job is to train every single day to get better at the most important part of modern footy, and that is skill execution. Honestly, you can just hear it in my voice, and you can see it in me if you're watching on YouTube. How much longer does this have to go on? How many times do we have to lose games where we start on the back foot because we're kicking inaccurately? We're giving up too many red time goals, which has been a problem forever. And it was awful yesterday. We're ill-disciplined as well. Like, Jack Viney, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Honestly. Now, is it a horrible tackle and probably a free kick to you? Absolutely. I thought it was a dumb tackle. But it's by the by. The next part of it is they've got the free kick. Give the ball back to the opposition. It's just a momentum killer. The amount of times that momentum gets snuffed out through faults of our own. And I'm sorry, and I've said this consistently, it is your Jack Vineys, it is your Christian Petrarcas, it is your Clayton Olivers. It's these types of guys that have been culpable with that final kick going inside, doing something ill-disciplined, and it has cost us dearly, and we've seen that over the journey. We won 3 of 4 finals on expected score. And we did a straight sets 2 years in a row because, again, we're having the same conversation. We just always find new ways to disappoint our fans and not finish off our work in front of goal and miss simple kicks going inside 50. And our forwards just seem to run away from the ball instead of running up at the ball. We also seem to make some players who wear opposition colours have their greatest games ever. Like Radicalea yesterday, everyone's talking about Georgiades. Radicalea, I don't think he's a very good player. He's a bum. He was Herculean. Yeah. We honestly made him look like one of the premier defenders in the competition. Mitch Georgiades, what a talent he is. But to kick 7 goals, like, I know there was a dodgy one there with the Stephen May, the tussle, and Stephen outbodied him, and it was one of the worst free kicks you've ever seen in your life.
That was the worst.
For God's sake, Melbourne, like, I'm so sick of this script, Caden, and I don't know how much more I've got to add. We can talk about fixes, and we'll talk about some things I think we need to fix, and you hit the nail on the head. Trent Rivers, if we want him to be a midfielder, play him in midfield. Jack Viney waltzes back into the lineup, plays 70-odd% in the midfield, or attends 70-odd% of centre bounces. Oh, Trent, we'll just put you behind the ball now. Not only that, we're going to sub you out. How fucking demoralising for Trent Rivers. Like, there's decisions like that I think are a little bit moronic that we'll get into. But anyway, I'm beyond frustrated because we've lost a game that, again, we should have won, and it sounds like sour grapes and it sounds bitter. But I'm so over sitting here and saying the same things. I've been doing this podcast for 9 years, and the last 3 or 4 seasons, Caden, and ever since getting you involved in the podcast, I feel like it's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's a vicious cycle, and I'm fucking done with it. Fix it, Melbourne. Fix it.
Oh, man. That was great. I had about 15 points to go off. And
sorry, I'm over it.
No, I love it. It's great. I don't know where to start. I want to sort of fly the flag for Jack Viney with that 50.
Sure.
Earlier, Max Gawn got done for a dangerous tackle, which I didn't think was dangerous, but it was in that third quarter and it was right on the boundary line, and I think he tackled their ruckman and he pinned one arm, but he had another arm free, which is fine. Like if you pin both arms, that's where you can get in trouble with the dangerous tackle. But good tackle on the wing, free kick, Port Adelaide. The exact same thing, if not worse, happened to Jack Viney, where he picks it up. He's in the process of standing up straight. You don't have prior unless your whole body is straight. Like once you're up from the ground, that's when they say that you've had prior. So he's in the process of getting up. He gets grabbed as he's halfway up, pinned arm, driven into the ground. It's either a ball up because he's had no prior or a pretty soft, dangerous tackle. But considering they got a dangerous tackle earlier in the same manner, it should be our free kick. He's somewhat dazed and confused trying to get up. There's a little bit of trying to slow the game down. There's a little bit of trying to delay, but it wasn't for long. It wasn't like a ridiculous amount. And he calls the 50 straight away and it killed the game. It killed the game. There was 2 free kicks in that third quarter. I'm not blaming our loss on the free kicks because it was self-inflicted, and what we did when we had opportunities was enough to kill the game itself. But I can't ignore that Georgiades goal from the May free kick, 2 big-bodied blokes going at it. They're both in the marking contest until the last second where Stephen May effectively pushes him out of the way through craft and strength. Like if that had been Mitch Georgiades doing it to May, it'd be like unbelievable. What a mark. He gets his shot on goal. But because it's the defender, they give it to Mitch Georgiades. And then obviously the Jack Viney non-dangerous tackle into the 50. I was seething and it was just disappointing. Like I know that that's the modern game and we, as a league, just have to accept that free kicks a flip of the coin and random ones get pulled out and they're going to be inconsistent and they make mistakes. But that was a very frustrating component of the game. The other thing that annoyed me from a D's perspective is, I don't know, like we're not losing with dare. Like we don't want to do this dump down the ground, and I don't know why we would ever kick long. Like when we have it on the half back line, I don't necessarily want kamikaze kicks through the middle, but I feel like we're too afraid to even shift the footy anymore. Like what if we have it at the half back line and Max Gawn isn't down the ground, we're kicking to Petty on 3 or 4 key defenders. Like, and who's around him is like Chandler and Fritsch and Melksham. They're all too tiny to give him a chop out in the marking contest. So I don't know why that would ever be an option. We were shifting the footy so well against Sydney and against Freo, and we do great switches and we take on the 45s. And I know that Adelaide Oval is a long, skinny ground, and Port defended it pretty well. Like especially in the first half, both teams' defenses were on fire. But I don't know, we're not losing with dare. We're not going down swinging. We sort of, it's like this timid, passive way of losing. It's like we're just giving the footy back so often. We're not taking the game on in any facet with hand, with boot. We're not breaking the lines. We speak about the weapons off the half back line. Like a couple of times Bowie got given the handball, and when he used it, it was unbelievable. I think he set up a shot on goal when Clary actually honoured the bloke running past. But genuine weapons off the half back line, and we just get stuck there so often, and we just dump it long to Petty versus Radigalia, who's having the game of his life. Alir, who's one of the best defenders in the comp, and they've got so many others floating back and giving them a hand. It's death by 1,000 self-inflicted cuts, and it's yeah, I don't know. We're just not learning, and maybe like we're definitely missing pieces in the front half. Like I was all for, can we improve with what we got on the list? Like I think Petty can be a big-bodied forward, and I think JVR can develop, but we're past that point now. Like I've been looking internal to see where we can get advantages from. Are we 18 months away from Disco and JVR looking like 2 handy key forwards? But that has to be fixed now. Like in the off season, we've locked away the midfield for a long time with Cozzy and Track and Clary from a contract standpoint. So Rivers so we've got the midfield. The back half's a bit of a watch, but I think you can upgrade your back half with ready-made players. The Hawks, Barras and Battle. We did it with May and Lever. There's so many across the league where you get a ready-made key position back and you get it through free agency. So I think we can replace May with something like that. But we got to do the same with the forward line, because like I would rather have a ready-made key forward that we've poached, 23, 24, ready to go, and JVR playing twos, and then there's a contest for positions, then not. Like I don't like it's now or never. Like that has to be addressed now.
Yeah. We have to plan, I agree, now, 5 and 9, 9 games left. We need to get a look at players from Casey as well. We need to stop playing favourites. Jack Viney, in my opinion, shouldn't have played. He looked underdone. Jake Lever doesn't look right since he came back. He showed some shades of it against Collingwood where you're thinking, oh, no, he's turned a little corner here. And then he was just back to what we'd seen in previous weeks where he just doesn't look at it. He doesn't look fit enough. We need to start to explore with our list. We need to give Bailey Laurie some continuity. Play some full games. The guy's been sub, full game. Casey, 1 quarter, sub, full game. Casey. Stop this in and out bullshit. Give him a chance. We're never going to know unless we play a player like that. Tajwai Woden's form is improving at Casey. He's been good in recent weeks. Give him another look. Let's see if he's got what it takes. I don't think guys like Christian Salem, Jake Melksham, Harrison Petty as a forward, I'm over it. Like there are decisions that we need to start making and thinking about the future. Now, I love some of these players, and Jake's a great one and Christian's a great example as well. They've been awesome servants for this football club, but let's have a little look. Let's see what others can potentially do from a halfback perspective. Maybe not a Christian Salem, give someone else a chance. Let's have a look at Matt Jefferson again. He's been playing really good footy in the last 3 weeks. He's kicked 12 goals over that period of time. He's got forward craft, which I like, and we saw it on display against Essendon on Saturday night. Give him a go. Bring him in. Let's see what he can do in this block of games. Let's start looking. Colton shouldn't have been dropped. He gave maximum effort. There were some classy things he did. There were some tough things he did against Collingwood. It was a low possession count, but I thought it was a good performance from him. I thought it was a performance that said, we've got enough to persist.
Yeah.
Yep. Like we give him another go. We've just taken him out of the lineup. No, Melbourne. No. Now is the time. No more favourites. There is no world where we go on a mazy run and win every single game until the end of the season and sneak finals. We'd be lucky to win another 3 games, I reckon, at this point. We could be staring down the barrel of an 8-win season, which is deplorable. But it's almost irrelevant for me now, the win-loss record in these last 9 games. People throw out just play the kids notion when we were 0-5. Didn't agree with it at the time. I agree with it now. Let's have a look because I think that's the position that we've got ourselves into. Now, before I change my tune, I want to talk about some positives from yesterday because there were some positives among the disappointment that we all experienced as Melbourne supporters. I just want to say this. Melbourne, over the last 3 or 4 years, they remind me of someone, let's try and liken this to a friend who's super talented. So maybe they're a creative or whatever they are. They're just like the most talented person in their industry, their realm, whatever they do. But this one thing holds them back and they just never work on it. And it's the thing that limits their ability to blossom and become whatever person they are in this particular industry, and they become successful at this thing. And they're just a little bit lazy and a bit flippant about, I don't know if I can be bothered working on that thing. It's kind of what Melbourne remind me of. There's so much talent in this list. I know we're still in our journey of this recalibration, and that's what you like to call it, Caden, but it just feels like hot air a lot of the time when Goody and some of the coaching staff talk about, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're doing a power of work. Are you? I don't know anymore because the evidence stacks up and suggests that maybe you're not actually working on it as much as you're saying you are. And it's that thing that in private, your talented friend who should be an absolute gun in whatever industry, and they're just not doing it. And they're telling you, no, I'm doing it. And as a friend, you're like, you're fucking disappointed. You're like, come on, mate. Do the work. Put the hours in. Fix that little problem that you need to fix so you can go to the next level and become the success that you need to be. And I just I feel like it's starting to get to the point where I actually don't believe them, Caden. We're doing a power of work in this space. How many times do we have to hear that over the past 3 or 4 years, but see the same output, the same results? And that's why I think it needs a fresh set of eyes at some point. Now, I was pretty big on the idea of maybe Simon Goodwin. He's relieved of his duties. We'll see it out with Goody, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's see it out. And he might see it out till the end of 2026, and we shake hands and we say, thank you so much for delivering the flag. It was incredible. We'll cherish it forever, blah, blah, blah. And I've been big on that because we have had some amazing memories under his guidance, his tutelage. But I think a fresh set of eyes in terms of why do we consistently keep having these conversations and these discussions? I think it's driving me insane. I think it's driving most Melbourne supporters insane. Weirdly enough, I almost think it's starting to drive the media insane, who don't even have a vested interest in this football club. I'm noticing commentators from yesterday on the various talk shows, and they're bamboozled. They're like, how the hell do these guys keep doing the same thing, right? So fresh set of eyes, some big decisions about not playing favourites anymore, getting games into players, making sure that Rivers is in the midfield. We don't send him back. We don't confuse him. He's a huge player for the future for us, of course. All those things considered, I think we've got to start implementing them and thinking about these things that will hopefully fix the problem that we've had for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, I almost doubt that that's going to happen, but I would love it too. I think we were speaking about goal kicking, and I reckon it was in the last couple of years of the club, because I feel deja vu about what I'm about to say. But I've always wondered if practicing your goal kicking down at a windy Casey and you just hammer it, you just practice and practice and practice, but you're always practicing with this ridiculous breeze that you get used to kicking with this breeze. Like, you just know you got to start it right every time. You've got to start it right because it always drifts back. And then you go to an Optus stadium where there's no wind at all. And are you chucking it right? Because all week, like, you've hammered your goal kicking, but you're just doing it in ridiculous weather. So I don't know. That's just another clip for Casey that's probably unnecessary, but I'm not a big fan of the joint, and I can't believe our elite athletes have to roll down there.
Caulfield, get it done.
Get it. Oh, for the love of God, please. Yeah. I don't mind the play, the kids stuff. Like we could improve I think Tom McDonald being in the team, either in the forward line or in defence, like, we need more tools, and he's sitting there. So I don't know if it's a Jeffo comes in, plays forward, Lever gets rested, has a mini loading session like we did with Fritter and JVR. Man, JVR, he's close. He's close. He has a trampoline chest. The footy just pings. Why does he, he does everything right but take the mark. And that's why, I'm almost sticking by the man, because he's got the appetite for the contest. He's just lacking that little bit of classiness to finish his work. But, I don't know. I think Tom McDonald needs to come in. Whether we have that extra tall in the forward line or he swaps in for Lever or whatnot. And
he's not the future though. I'm not even I personally have a different viewpoint at the moment. Jed Adams had the most intercepts for Casey. He looks a player, but we won't know if he can become a player at AFL level unless we start to play him. Now, too much integration.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is suddenly you've got 4 or 5 completely fresh players coming in. Some have had a taste of it at AFL level. Some of them haven't. Jed Adams, a good example of that. We can't just integrate them all at once. That's a bit of a dir, because we don't want to throw out the team balance and the chemistry and even just the cultural piece, because then suddenly senior players or players that have played maybe 100 plus start going, why am I getting turfed here? So we need to be really clever about how we manage that as a match committee. But I just look at it, Caden, and I go, Tom McDonald, not the future. Jake Melksham, not the future. Jack Viney, he's hanging on a little bit for me. And these are guys that I absolutely love. And I love the Melbourne Football Club. And I love all these blokes. But We just got to start looking to the future. Stephen May's a good example. I don't want Stephen May playing a whole year next year. I'm sorry. Stephen May's last contracted year, 2026, I don't want him playing the whole year personally. But again, it's got to be about balance and how we slowly integrate the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. But sorry to shoot you down, but the Tom McDonald thing, I'm like, it's not the future. So I don't know if it actually solves anything. I'd rather get games into certain players, and striking that balance is going to be hard.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was thinking like what fixes us quicker to get results in the back half of the year. Obviously, finals is done and dusted, so it probably is irrelevant. And maybe it is a good time to start experimenting. And I'm excited by the future. Like I don't think we necessarily need to get younger in round 1, 2026. Like I maybe have the opposite belief of a lot of people. I think we're a couple of 25-year-old free agents away from being competitive again. I think we need one in the back half. I think we definitely need one in the forward half. And I think we need that second ruck style. And we've seen teams like Adelaide in the last year or so. Collingwood always do it. They'll bring in 3 or 4 25, 26-year-olds. And people play till 34 now. So they're at your club for 8 years. They're not at your club for 3 years anymore. Like people don't retire at 29 or 30. So if you just get 3 25-year-olds every season, you're forever in the window. And I love that we've shored up our younger stocks. 4 first-round draft picks in 2 seasons is ridiculous. Early first-round draft picks as well, especially for a team that has been contending. So I'm sort of the belief that we need a little bit of mature age on every line to make that 22 look bulletproof again. Because at the moment, every week that we play, in the 22, there's 2 or 3 that I don't think are in form or ready or cut out for it just yet. So to add, like I love what the Hawks did with Barras, Battle. I love that the Pies got Perryman, Houston, Membry, like Adelaide obviously with Nibbler, Cummings, Peatling. You bring 3 ready-made players in. It then pushes the fringe players out who are playing twos. It creates contests for spots. It makes your team better straight away. So I'm optimistic by the future. I'm optimistic by the young players. I'm excited to experiment and maybe get some games into some of the younger blokes. And then I think we just got to do a lot of work in the off season to shuffle the deck. And we should be a top 8 team. You know, I still thought we could have been top 8 this year. I knew that with the depth, we were a couple of injuries away from, falling off pretty quickly. But I think next season, there's no reason why we can't be a top 8 team, but it starts now pretty much.
It does. It starts now. We need to start being more efficient. It's the same conversation. It's a broken record, but there is cause for optimism. There are some positives. I'm going to run through the playing list from yesterday and we're going to do a little exercise together, Kados. But one quick thought just about this team is if you were a player, I'll maybe pose the question to you. If you were a player and you're in all the team meetings each week and you're talking about this efficiency piece that I just alluded to, right? If you see, okay, key indicators, we won inside 50s, we won clearance, we won contested possessions, and it's just been beaten into us and it's our DNA and it's what we're all about. But if you were a player looking at the scoreboard in the last 3 weeks, knowing that inaccuracy largely contributed to us not winning games of footy, we've lost our last 3 in a row, how would you be feeling as a player? Would you be ropeable, disappointed, frustrated? What would your emotion be? I'm interested in what you think the psyche of the players are, because you can paint a good story of all the things that form our DNA. That's I have no doubt that's what gets framed to them. But then because there's no end product with all the work behind it, how would you feel, do you think, if you're a player?
Like a short answer would be, I would feel, I think I'd be optimistic. I think, like,
Would you?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but some teams talk about like addressing results not on outcome, and I know it's a win-loss industry, but there's a lot of teams that don't get wins that are so far off the pace that aren't winning the key performance indicators. And I've thought for a while, like ever since we went out straight sets the second year in a row, and it was the same story, won the X score and whatnot, I started to think like, is there a new method? Like, has the Collingwood way debunked the clearance, the contest, and the inside 50 pillar that every team is aiming for? Like, is this counterpunch footy just way better? Would you rather it live in your back half and then you just slingshot because you get that easier, more open shot at goal?
Yeah.
But after King's birthday, Craig McRae was on AFL 360 straight after the game, and they brought up the stats. They brought up the contested ball that they got smashed in, the inside 50s, and the clearances. And I was interested to see what Craig McRae said, and he goes, honestly, that wasn't our game. He was essentially saying what Melbourne did in the stats was phenomenal, and he was like, look, you're not going to set yourself up to win if you're not winning these stats, and we got away with it today, and we know how to win in multiple ways, which is nice. But he goes, we don't want to come off the ground every week with the stats like that. So him putting a lot of value in the stats that we win every week pretty much made me think that like we're in a good position for long parts of games. It is that polish piece, as you were saying. So I'd be optimistic.
So your take would be, we've got to keep doing what we're doing. It'll eventually click. The game plan is right. It's the right approach. We're getting the game on our terms, the way that we want it. We'll fix that final part.
I think
we'll be upbeat. We know that we've let ourselves down in terms of our execution going inside and our goal kicking, but ultimately we've just got to stay the course with this thing because it's working. It's just that final piece. Do you think that's how they'd be thinking?
Yeah, sure. I think so.
Okay.
Well, because going into the rest of the season, you're winning 3 components of AFL footy that any coach would die for. Like, there's some clubs that would take winning one of these components, and we win all of them consistently. Maybe, yeah.
I would start to doubt myself if I was a player. That's my psyche. I would start to go, hang on, it's a bit fucking weird.
Yeah.
We keep winning all these key indicators. The coaches keep telling us that all we need to do is value and win all these key indicators and it'll go a long way to winning a game of footy. But we keep losing.
Yeah.
I'd start to question the method if I was a player. I'd start to go, oh, hang on, we're getting killed on defensive transition quite a bit. Teams are putting a score on us. We've got a stranglehold on them, but we can't convert. We got torn up again in transition. The amount of sides that just coast to coasted against us is very alarming as well. And it's not even an elephant in the room. It's just something that doesn't get highlighted and spoken about enough. We speak about kicks going inside 50, awful. We talk about awful goal kicking. There needs to be a broader discussion about the way we get torched as well on turnover. And I spoke about that in the preseason on my preview pod. I said, well, the season preview pod with Scotty. And I said, I think that's an alarming issue. And here we are talking about it as exactly that. We're not talking about that enough. So I get that there might be some players going, no, it's all good. It'll click. We've got the game where we want it. We're doing everything we can. We're just falling down in that final hurdle. I'd start to call a bit of bullshit on that if it just repetitively, if it just continues to happen.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern is, I don't know if it is the game plan moving forward. Personally, this back half game, as you said, it's bearing fruits for a lot of teams where they can slingshot, kick winning scores. They can absorb pressure in their back half, which Port Adelaide had to do on numerous occasions where it was absorb. All right, let's go. We're out. Goal. All right, let's just keep doing that. Let's just accept that Melbourne's players are bulls Melbourne's players are tougher at the contest. Let's just accept that as a coaching group and let's set up accordingly. And so many teams have done that to us, Caden.
And maybe we win those stats because we do have some of the best players in that facet of the game. Like maybe our contested footy is an outlier because 4 blokes on the ground make up for, the rest of the side. So maybe it's not a team contested footy thing. Maybe it's just because we got Clary and Track who are just pumping the numbers up. But
exactly. So this is the little exercise I wanted to do. So let's look at some upside. Let's look at some positives. But let's also just go through the playing list and call a spade a spade. So Jake Bowie, major positive. Major positive for this season. He's a shining light.
For the season?
For the season, yeah.
Season, okay.
Yeah, for the season. Stephen May. Well, he's only got one more year after this year. So that's when I say call a spade a spade. It is what it is. He's still playing some decent footy.
He's had some great games. And he had moments, like some of his intercept marking yesterday, he consistently sat on heads. I know Georgiades kicked 7 goals for. I don't know. Do you put that down to Stephen May being shit, or is that the midfield? Is that like a whole team thing?
2 of them were when Disco was playing on Georgiades early, so we can wipe those 2 off. One is the worst free kick of all time.
That was actually,
he's effectively kicked 4 on him, if you want to look at it from that viewpoint. However, the lack of pressure on the ball carrier for some of those kicks going inside, they were just hitting him lace out. There was so much space. So, yeah, he got beaten, hands down. That's a duh. But I don't think it was as big a mauling as people make it out to be because of that mitigation.
Yeah.
But Christian Salem, I'm interested on your viewpoint of him because I'm like, I would start to maybe look at life after him personally. That might be harsh. But an Andy Moniz Wakefield springs to mind. If he comes back off his knee injury, has a big preseason, he's good to go. I'd probably circle him as someone because what I'm trying to do with this exercise is I'm just trying to look to the future. Stephen's not a part of the future. We know that. Jake Bowie is a massive part of it. Is Christian Salem a part of the future in the next 3 years? I would probably say no.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. Not sure. I think he's... I'm not even going to refer to what he did in 2021 because it's so long ago, but we know Salem's best is unbelievable. It's just, I'm not sure he's capable of it anymore. Like I know, and this is it's a brutal sport. It is an unforgiving sport. And some of the knee injuries that he had were pretty gnarly. And I love that he came in at a shit time for Melbourne. Like he was the first player. I think him and Viney were in and around the same draft, but it's like he was before Track and Clary and before it all started to turn. And he was that first player we got that saw it through with us. So he's always got a special place in my heart. And I would hope that maybe he can get back to some of the form that we've seen. But if we got rid of him and we tried to reinvent, I'm not going to be distraught over it.
I love this. I just get a little notification from X that Liverpool are about to sign up another player. So, yeah, you can certainly get an understanding of where my attention and focus is headed now because this season's kaput. I'm just going to get back into not back into it. I'm just going to devote a bit of time and energy to the round ball because this game is sucking the life out of me. Judd McVee,
he had a shocker yesterday.
I thought he was all right.
Like I thought the bump wasn't as bad as what people thought, but the rib tickler was just bizarre.
Yeah, the rib tickler was silly. Weirdly, I didn't mind his mongrel bastard. It was just a bit ill-directed or misdirected is probably the word for it because Port Adelaide have bullied us over the journey. The weird thing is I just didn't think it would be Judd McVee that would fly the flag.
Yeah.
Like I thought it would have been like a Jack Viney is an obvious choice or a Stephen May. And it was Judd McVee, the gangly, lanky Judd McVee, kind of my body type. I was like, didn't expect it to be him. But yes, Judd McVee is a player for the future.
100%.
Jake Lever is a player for the future. He is a potential captain, but there is a big watch on his body and he needs to get supremely fit in the off-season. I don't think we'll see the best of Jake Lever for the rest of this year just because I don't think he's fully fit.
That's another year that's happened as well.
Exactly. So I'm all for the idea of Jake Lever being the skipper of this football club, but it's kind of hard for you to be the skipper if you can't get out in the park. So everyone knows I absolutely love him. He's one of my favourites, but he's got to get his body right. There's a watch on that. Daniel Turner, what
Is
more
he
needs?
not one of the most exciting parts of our future? Like,
Yep.
I can't believe I almost wrote him off early days, and I've said this a million times. So I'm not going to go into it deeply, but I wasn't convinced. Everyone was convinced after that Queen's birthday debut, and I thought he was a bit all over the shop, and we got hammered in the game. I'm pretty sure, but his marking is unbelievable. His boot at goal from 50 or 60 is unbelievable. His passion, his celebrations, his closing speed, his athleticism. I would love to see him put a couple more kilos on. He doesn't need to, but just to really enforce himself as one of the better key backs or key forwards. But man, he could be anything at either end of the ground.
He is my boy, Daniel Turner, and he has taken the number 10 off Gussie. And here I am, 36-year-old, holding a footy card. What a loser. I just love him, and I'm glad he's my boy, and I'm glad he took the number 10 off Gussie, and he is doing that number proud.
In,
My
in
God.
5 years, which end of the ground is he at permanently?
Defender.
Yeah, nice.
You agree?
Yeah, I'm more than happy.
Oh, he's a gun. I think, again, we've unearthed one. So we're getting positive
He
here.
takes a lot of marks, a lot.
He does. He just clunks them. One takes as
Reads
well.
it so well, yeah.
Take note, Jacob. Ed Langdon. I've
loved his season.
Yeah, I think yes, Ed's a tick. He's a player for the future. I think a supremely fit footballer is Ed Langdon. He can get another good 3-4 years out of his body, I think. Christian Petrarca, it's a tricky one with track. We talk about the polish piece a lot. It was evident yesterday that he was lacking in that area of his game, running at 52% efficiency. I still got confidence and faith in track that we'll get back, or we'll see him get back to his absolute best. Someone said the other day, he's not playing that well. I go, I actually think that's a bit harsh. I reckon he's still performing at a relatively decent level.
He's having a good year, like a really good year, and his stats, he gets like 25 and half a goal or whatever it is. It's just not quite 28 and a goal or whatever his peak footy was. But I think he's had a great season. But he isn't like the big bull that we've seen. And I was watching on Channel 7 yesterday, and they criticised, there's been a couple of times this year he could float back with the pack, and he doesn't. And they brought it up. They said it's a bit of an elephant in this room. He's not going in contests the way he used to last year, and it's understandable, but they mentioned it. And I'm like, why would you? Like, Christian Petrarca's role isn't to float back like Stephen May. And I don't think you have to do it again in your career. Like, unless it's to Leo Barriott and win the grand final, which I think he still would go. If that was the case, he would go. But it's round 14 against Port, and you've got Radigalia and Alira. Like, there's just no need. And I couldn't believe that they highlighted it. But I think he has lost a little bit of his bullishness in and around the contest. So I can forgive him for the marking stuff. But I reckon he's probably 12 months away from fully being back in the midfield the way he used to be.
Nothing to add. Completely agree. Don't begrudge him. I don't expect him to go back with the flight either after what he went through.
He should just play forward line for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. That was spoken about whilst drowning sorrows last night with Marco and Richie. We were speaking about track just permanent forward. Caleb Windsor, he's a tick. He just needs to fix his kicking. It's that simple. I think you would agree. We can move on from him. Harvey Langford is going to be an absolute star.
Yeah.
Star.
He needs to spend a summer on his ground balls. Like, Lockie Neal apparently does 1,000 a week or whatever it is. It's just whenever it goes below Harvey's knees, he runs over it all the time. He's great if he gets the ball at chest height, and then he just does whatever he wants with it. He can shrug you. He can turn you inside out. He can break the lines with his burst and pace. But for the love of God, Harvey, just the ground balls. A whole summer of ground balls, please.
Listen to Coach Kados, please. Come on. We'll talk about Kalani White at the end, of course. You're an undercover agent,
I'm a
which I
scout.
love.
I'm a
Hey,
scout.
yeah, you're an absolute scout in every sense of the word. Good work. We'll talk about that to wrap. Bailey Fritsch, I would have given him a cross 3 or 4 weeks ago. Something's changed in Bailey since that sub performance against the Lions. He's actually had a really good stretch in the past 3 or 4 weeks. There will be some detractors and some people listening that'll be like, that's bullshit, just because he's become somewhat of a maligned footballer at times. I thought he was great yesterday. He kicked 2 goals. Yes, he kicked the 3 behinds. It should have, could have, would have been a 4-goal performance from him, but he had the 20 disposals. His endeavour was there. I'm going to give him a tick on the proviso that he can become a consistent footballer again. I still think he's definitely got a place in this team. When he's up and running, he's a mini barometer. We just need to see him getting back to full flight fritter. And I feel like full flight fritter could be a nice surprise in these last 9 games.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a little bit more bullish about him.
He had the interrupted preseason as well, and he's just a product of our method. Like, he could get 10 free kicks a game. Yesterday, he was just demolished in a lot of marking contests illegally, and I think he got 1 or 2 free kicks, and we don't want to bang on about the umpires, and I'm not going to, but I'm just saying that Fritter is putting himself in those positions. He's competing as hard as he can for the size that he is, and he's been trying his guts out. So I think he's slowly but surely building into the season. And as we said, he's had the interrupted preseason as well. He'll get back to great footy across his career with the D's, I think.
Tom Sparrow, I'm a little bit confused still. Low possession, not great impact. Similar stat line to what we normally see with Tom at the moment yesterday. Ripping fella, great kid. One of the nicest people you'll meet. He's honestly, there's not a bad bone in his body. But I just want to see him impose himself a little bit more, crack in a little bit more, have a bigger influence on contests. I've no doubt Tom probably wants to do the same thing. Just a little bit confused about his role. Do I still think he's a player for the future? I'm going to say yes. It's just there's a bit of a watch on Tom in terms of consistency, better output. I think, again, he would know this better than anyone else. He's probably his own harshest critic. But that's probably where I sit with Tommy. Jake Melksham, spoke about it before. Great servant of this football club.
So good.
So good, and plays above his weight range and his height range, and has done some of the most exceptional jobs on the best intercept defenders in the league. And Jake will be celebrated and lauded for everything that he's done for the Melbourne Football Club.
His heart and soul as well.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think Jake would be a great assistant. He'd be a great coach. I think he's got a coaching business, funnily enough, for junior kids. I would love to see him involved in some role from a coaching point of view with the Melbourne Football Club. I reckon he's just got a really good feel for the game. And you can see him out there. He's a conductor. He's pointing. He's gesticulating. He's telling some of the younger blokes what to do. So thank you. But is he a part of the future? No. Simply because of his age. Harrison Petty, I don't know. I just don't know with Harrison. You get the same output from him every single week. It's 8 possessions, 1 goal, 3 marks. And you're like, structurally, did it make sense for us? Maybe. But just purely from a numbers point of view, you got to be kicking 2 or 3 goals every second week, mate. It's just not good enough for mine. And I don't know. I think Harrison probably goes back behind the ball. We solve that big power forward conundrum that we seem to be banging on about all the time. He's not a forward. He'll go back behind the ball, and then hopefully he can recapture his form from 2021. That's kind of where I stand with him.
Those boys, JVR as well, they need to do a lot of work on their separation. They just want the wrestle. The wrestle is a hard way to earn possessions every game. It's like, and you're not even the biggest and the baddest bodies in the AFL. I would understand if you were Tom Lynch and you would just like put it on my head. But I think the wrestle is great negatively when you're a defender. Like, I think Petty would love locking up with key forwards as a defender because it's an easy way to body spoil or get an arm in or grab an arm so they can't quite mark it. But he's brought that to the forward line when you need to be creative. You need to get off the mark. You need to lead up, double back. Like, there's just none of that. And that's a part of his game he's either going to have to develop or maybe he doesn't. Yeah, maybe he's full back in 2026. But you're making it so much harder for yourself as a forward if you're just doing the wrestling for 4 quarters.
Couldn't agree more. It's a frustrating watch when he does that as well. Cozzy Pickett, superstar, had to give him the money his first half yesterday before concussion. He passed a HIA and then glute.
Yeah, someone like fell across his legs as well. There was a couple of times where they were like, port to port. You know, the way that they conduct themselves, they sniper, they go after. It is what it is. Some people on social media were highlighting that Cozzy had 1 touch in the third quarter, which people love to do anyway, but he was the second highest rated footballer across the weekend and he basically played a half. Like, what he did in that first half was generational bursts of play that I'd never seen before. So yeah, I'd pay him double. I cannot believe we've got him. What the hell?
I know. We've got him. And do you know what? It was the question that was posed on the Thursday preview show that just turned into a Cozzy Love Him podcast. And it was, if we finish this season in 14th, 15th, we win 8, 9, 10 games for the year or whatever it is. And it's a shocker in terms of ladder position. But someone said, Cozzy Pickett signs up to your football club for life. Would you take it? Yes.
Yeah.
I would. Of course you would. And that's not us giving the football club an easy out. And we should be damning and we should be critical and we should demand more of this list. And they're not doing the business at the moment. But you build around this guy. Oh. He's the main man. And the main man for the last 5, 6, 7 years has been Max Gawn. And he probably still is the main man. So let's not disrespect the GOAT, Max Gawn. But we are passing that mantle on to Keziah, and he will attract players to this football club alone. Come and play with the most exciting player in the comp. So
some people have been comparing Cozzy Pickett that they'll, and I'm talking about your Twitter detractors, but some people will be like, oh, he's getting so much money. Look at his stats compared to Stengel and whatnot. And he's like 10 goals off or whatever it is in the same amount of games. And I go, yeah, but Stengel's a small forward. This is a midfielder. This is a midfielder that kicks 3 goals a game, 5 goals a game. This is a midfielder. We're talking about a midfielder. We're going to bear witness to some of the craziest Melbourne Footy Club highlights and moments over the next 9 years if he stays the whole contract. It's going to be worth it. Like, what an acquisition.
He will one day have an 8 and 30.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy Cameron's done something like that before, and he is at the very, very top echelon. Jeremy Cameron, what a player.
I think, yeah, because he's like 23, 24 as well. Like, it's absurd.
He'll have stupid games like that.
Yep.
He'll do numbers like that. Max Gawn, nothing to be said. Run out of superlatives. Absolutely love him. Is he one for the future? I think he ekes out till 2027. That's when his contract runs till. He might do a 2028. Hopefully we still get some great footy from him. It must be said, though, he's kicked 213 for the season. 213. Oh, Max.
What?
Every single time he has a shot, Caden, it's like, well, he may as well not have the shot and just like NFL punt, throw the ball to the kicker, taking the kick out and just concede defeat. And that's so harsh, but like 213, Maxie. Come on, you're our leader. You got to drop him. It's so bad.
And he misses to the same side every time. And I just don't understand why Cozzy doesn't roll around the back, give a quick little handball, almost as soon as he marks it, like almost while everyone's just having that exhale, someone's marked at 30 out, give the handball. Because I know he tried it with Jake Melksham a couple of weeks ago, but he had to call Jake over and then he handballed to Jake flat-footed on his non-preferred, who then, like, they almost just gave away that they were doing it. Anytime Max marks it, there's no point having the shot. Like, there's genuinely no point having the shot. Just give it off.
No, but he's got to kick him, Caden. Come on. We can't give it.
He can't. He actually can't now.
We love the big fella more than most.
I'd handball him off. Like, you're not going to kick him. You can't kick him.
Just sort it out, Maxie. Kick him. Clayton Oliver. I don't know. It's a bit of a watch. We'll see. It's, again, huff and puff. There's no finesse. It's a bit sloppy. Cannot question his endeavour, his intent, his pressure, his hunting. He's great at winning it. He's not great at executing with it. It's a bit of a watch. If an offer came in, I don't know, you potentially look at it. I'm a bit confused. I actually don't really have a viewpoint on whether he is future or not yet. I want him to be future. As a Melbourne fan, I just feel like I need a better version of Clary. Is he building towards that? Again, I don't know. I'm a bit miffed about Claz and where he stands, because he has had some decent games this year, but he's had a few stinkers as well. So I don't know. I'm a bit confused. What about you?
I don't want to say anything controversial because
No, we love him.
we're in the same boat. Like, love him to death. Can't believe what I've witnessed him do for the footy club. But for me, I'm so proud about the journey the club's been on and I don't want to go like too over the top, but like the journey that the club went on in like the health and side of it to help him get back on his feet, I thought was phenomenal. And the way it's taken 18 months to 24 months, but slowly but surely see the Claz that we knew and loved come back, like the life in his face and like the positivity and whatnot. So that's been awesome. And we're still waiting for that footy side to come back, even though that's almost an irrelevant argument. You know, having the Clary that we got drafted back from a personality standpoint has been awesome to see. From a footy standpoint, from my perspective, once again, love him to death, but I almost think it's getting to fresh start for both, like even for him, for both parties. Like it's starting to feel like he could go to another club and get that almost drafted feeling back where you got to earn the respect of your new teammates. He comes out and has another All-Australian year, but we move a midfielder on to get Trent Rivers and Cozzy more midfield time. Like, if Clary's running around in the red and blue next season, I'm pumped because I love the man and I'd do anything for him. But if both parties agreed that a fresh start for both parties was the right thing, I don't think at the end of this trade period I'd be like shocked and sad, and I think it would make sense. So I'm very much open to whatever's best for all parties going forward.
I like that answer. Very diplomatic, and we do love him. Jack Viney, another one.
Is he going to see out his 3 years?
No, it's just it's sad for Jack, just in terms of he gets the concussion. The concussion layoff was super concerning, and then he has this innocuous, random training injury, the hand. And I'm not going to say he's at the crossroads because that's just melodramatic, but I just worry about his role a bit.
Yeah.
That's the biggest concern. It's exactly what you just said about Trent Rivers, Cozzy Pickett going through that midfield. You got to remember, Harvey Langford's going to go through there. Is it as soon as next year? Maybe, maybe not. But you'd have to think come 2027, he's in that midfield mix. He's in that primary rotation. So Jack Viney in his role, a pressure small forward, could he potentially do that? I think that's the watch with Jack. So I think it's going to be a really interesting one moving forward.
He gets next year to prove that he had an interrupted preseason and he gets his body right, and maybe he's because Libra and that they're still playing at this age. He can still do it. And he probably gets that right of reply next season. And maybe next season he plays the first few and we do a Nathan Jones and phase him out. But he still has a year on that contract, so I'm not sure what would happen then. But I still think Jack Viney's on the list next year.
Yeah, for sure. But again, one for the future, a part of the next potential flag in 2, 3, 4 years if we can get things right. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think he is a part of that next wave.
That's the other thing. So there's a bit of a watch, and the common theme here is we're just looking at some of these older guys and we're like, maybe not a part of it. And that's okay. Things end. Things change. People have long friendships and then people have children and their friendship falls apart, or they move to a different state and you lose contact with people. It's just the nature of the beast. We're going to replenish this list. We're going to have to say goodbye to some of our favourite sons and our heroes during this era of competing at the very top for a few years there and winning a flag. And this is like it's okay to have these conversations. It's life. And there's a sentimental attachment to some of these players, but we've also just got to review it in a very objective manner and just ask that simple burning question. Are these guys going to be a part of the next wave of the next premiership? And if there's a little bit of doubt, then you dig deep, and Jack Viney's one of them. And I said it before, Jake Lever's body is a concern. Christian Salem, I don't know if he's a part of it. Like this is where we're at now, and this is what we have to do as a football club. Blake Howes, I thought he was really good yesterday. I thought that was one of his better games. I thought he was a small positive to come out of yesterday. I think you've got to keep persisting with him. Trent Rivers, we spoke about him before, disappointing to be subbed out, disappointing that we had to put him back behind the ball. Let's just see how that conundrum plays out. Cade Chandler, I'm going to give him a tick, and I think he's definitely one for the future. He's been meandering through games a bit recently. I'd love to see him ignite games a bit more, because I think he's got that in his locker. And we saw that against I think it was North Melbourne earlier in the season, where he has the 25 and kicks 3. And he has had some really good performances this season, but he's had a lot of games where he's been barely sighted. He hasn't been able to get into it. I know he does a lot of sacrificial running for the team, but I feel like he could be that little energizer bunny in our front half, and he could really spark us and get us going, particularly when we're behind. And I don't often see that enough, and I think that's the next part of his evolution as a player. And then the final one, Caden, that's probably a good place to end this little exercise before we wrap up with some Kalani White, but it's Jacob Van Rooyen. And Jacob Van Rooyen, he starts the game in the best possible fashion, kicking 2 goals. And Marker, like we're celebrating his second goal, and Marker goes, oh, he won't kick another one for the game. Like classic Marker fashion, hoping to reverse Moz it, right? Yeah. And hoping we're sitting there and he's kicked 4 or 5 and he's been the difference. That was the frustration. He did all his good work in the first quarter. I know the second ruck roll thing doesn't help him, but I just feel like it was a missed opportunity yesterday. You probably have to put a cross next to his name at the moment, just in terms of his development. I still think he'll come on as a player though. So if you're talking about players for the future, I think it's once we get that forward to complement JVR becomes his second key tall forward. I think we might see him blossom again. Has he lost a little bit of mongrel bastard in his attack on the footy? I think so. He needs to recapture that. And there's just a lack of confidence there from the young man. Whatever it is, I don't know, but I still hold out faith that he will be a player. It's just we have to complement him with someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe a better method than trying to wrestle everyone. Like his work rate's probably not up to scratch just yet, and obviously that's probably what he's been working on in the twos, and hopefully eventually gets there. I think I underestimate how young he is. Like he's still super young, and not to exaggerate because we don't want to wait around this long, but sometimes key forwards take till 26, and he should be contributing before then, but until they fully like explode onto the scene, some of them take till 25, 26. And I still think he's got some attributes that are really tantalizing, but he's got to fix the consistency, and like even just the consistency of the work rate and whatnot. But I'm still backing the great man Ian. It has been a very frustrating 18 months for him though.
So to round this off, and then let's speak about Kalani. There's some hope in there. There's some hope. Jake Bowie, Judd McVie, Daniel Turner, Caleb Windsor, Harvey Langford, the best version of Bailey Fritsch, Cozzy Pickett. Wow. Wow. Blake Howes starting to become a player. Cade Chandler plays some really good footy when he's up and about. Trent Rivers, a gun in my opinion. I think he'll go to a whole new level, but it's not going to happen this year. I think it's next year. And maybe JVR becomes the player that we all hope he will become one day. There is plenty of upside on this list. So I just wanted to leave people with that and do that exercise. It can be very easy to get all doom and gloom, but I'm just going to reiterate this again, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. We have to start making some hard choices and hard decisions, particularly with favourite sons. And we need to look to the future and start planning for who is going to be a part of this next flag. And you can't make those decisions with sentiment. That's all I'll say. Kalani White, you were down there at Port Melbourne with the Marmalade Boys and you had your Kalani White fan club sign out. It was all over social media. You're such a poser. I love it. But you did such a splendid job, Caden, because I think it created a groundswell of Melbourne supporters. And I got so many messages from people to the DeeBrief Instagram account going, good on you, Caden. Hope you got him his ear. Hope you told him he looked good in red and blue. Take us through it. The floor is yours. You spoke to the young kid. He's an exciting prospect. Jeff was loving it, watching from home. He kicked a couple of goals. He looks a player for the future. Surely he's coming to the D's. What did he say?
He was pumped. He was pumped after the game. We went and had a chat to him on the ground and showed him the sign and he was pissing himself. But he was just like full of adrenaline. Obviously, they had the game that was telecasted to Channel 7 against another AFL side in Essendon. And, yeah, just full of adrenaline. He kicked 2 goals in the last quarter. What was cool was, so Jeff wasn't down that weekend because I think Kalani's playing a fair bit of footy in Victoria over the next little bit with the Allies. And, I started to think, oh, man, that's such a big effort for this 18-year-old to be down in Victoria by himself. But what I forget is Kynan Brown was playing while he was playing. I don't know if Noah Uze was playing, but essentially he's running around with close family friends. It's just so cool. It's so cool for the footy club that some of the old names are down there, supporting each other in their development. In terms of his game, he's not in any of the projected top 20s or top 30s this season. Super, super raw. Super skillful. Sometimes you see frames that he's so tall. He's the tallest on the ground. He's 200 plus centimeters. He's sometimes you see people with that frame and the skills are lacking. He's super skillful. And he's super athletic. He was sitting on heads, didn't quite bring some down. Competed hard in the ruck, laid great tackles, and then he kicked 2 goals too. He had a snap from about 45 that I think went skinny, but almost floated through, and then he kicked 2 in the last, a beautiful set shot. I think he's taking a little bit of time with his development. He's not this top 5. He's not a Luke Jackson. I think a Tom De Koning was toiling away for 4 or 5 years on Carlton's list before he exploded, and maybe he might follow a similar path where if he does choose to come to the Ds, it's not going to be an immediate impact, I don't think. I might be proven wrong, but he's just super raw, but the athletic profile is phenomenal. The height is ridiculous, and yeah, he should be an AFL footballer. So hopefully it's with the red and blue. I think from the little hints that you pick up, there was a photo a couple of weeks ago of Noah Uze and Kalani White, and I think Kalani posted or Jeff posted 2 D's father-sons. So I don't know. There's been slight hints that he's leaning towards the red and blue, but who knows? I've got no idea. And you wouldn't begrudge him. The facilities up at Gold Coast. I know we've said this before.
Hey,
we've said this before. It's he's playing in 8 degrees on Saturday night in Port Melbourne. It's not quite people's choice where it's 20 degrees all year.
Hayden, everything you said then was absolutely exquisite and on point until the very end. I'm sorry. You would begrudge him. You're coming to Melbourne, kid. You're coming to Melbourne. You're coming to play with Daniel Turner, who will be the greatest intercept defender in the competition in 3 years. Come and play with him. Come and play with the best player in the competition, Cozzy Pickett.
He just has to sit behind.
Hey, Harvey Langford, let's sell the dream. We're selling the dream here,
He just has to sit
Kate.
behind Luke Jackson for a couple of years. That's all he has to do.
Come and learn from the GOAT, Max Gawn, for 2 years. It's a dir. Come on, Kalani. It's a dir. It's a dir. You're coming to the D's, mate, and we love you. And do you know what? The outpouring of emotion from Melbourne supporters, just getting around him, love him, the celebration of the Casey players as well, the way they brought the circle, just made him feel part of it. He's a young kid. He's a teenager, and I just loved how everyone just bought into this idea of this father-son prospect playing with Casey. It was awesome, mate. Ben Brown presenting his jumper. And Jeff White's spoken about this quite consistently, that the little things that Melbourne have done, the little details to make him feel comfortable, just another representation of it on Saturday for Casey. Well done, Dees, because I think we've done everything humanly possible to make him feel like he belongs at the Melbourne Football Club, if, of course, he wants to make that decision. So I tip my hat to the club because we couldn't have done much more, and I know that Jeff is very appreciative of that and he's been very public about that. And now it just comes down to his decision. The thing I definitely agree with as a father of two young boys, very young boys, and I love how Jeff has empowered him to say it's your life, it's your decision. I think it's great parenting. He's not forcing him into something. If my boy wants to play hockey, and no offense to people who play hockey, I don't like the sport. But if Harry or Jasper want to play hockey, boys, go for it. Do whatever you want. Be whoever you want to be. And that's what Jeff has done with Kalani. And I applaud Jeff for that because I think that's great parenting advice. And it's his decision at the end of the day. I just think we've done everything we can. Fingers crossed. Am I confident he comes to the D's? I guess so. But again, who knows? Like, he might have his head turned from the offers and the environment up there at the Suns. And if he goes that way, I'll be disappointed. But again, just to tap into what Jeff's been saying, like, you give him your blessing. It's his life. It's his decision.
Yeah, great call. Great call. And it is exciting. And, you know, he's a D's nuffy as well. Like, for a few years, like, I formed a bit of a connection just chatting the Melbourne Footy Club with him. And that was the main reason to go down, was because I didn't twig that it was his VFL debut, but when we twigged that it was, the Marmalade boys and myself have had rapport with Kalani over the last few years. It was more just going down to get around him. Like, I know it did look like I was trying to put the word in and sway him either way. You know, I don't chat to him, and I'm not close to him at all to have that level of conversation, and I never would, but it was more just to support the kid who was having his VFL debut, and he was awesome. Like, we were watching from the boundary line, and his performance was great. So now he's got some games with the Allies over the championship over the next little bit. We'll probably learn a little bit more where he's placed in the Phantom drafts and whatnot after that. I still don't think he's in the top 20 or 30, but that's not concerning at all. Like, there's so many players, especially with that frame and archetype, that come on later. So, you know, just because he's not highly touted right now means nothing. So he's got a great athletic frame and he could be anything. And hopefully we get to see him develop in the red and blue.
Love it. Love the club. It's hard to say that after performances like yesterday, but do love the club. It's hard to front up and do these reviews some days, sometimes, Caden, but at the end of the day, this is what I signed up for. So I just want to say my appreciation for you and you giving up your time and talking about the Melbourne Football Club, because, yeah, we're a funny football club. we're the most frustrating team at the moment, because you can do so much right. Yet we are so close, yet so far away. It's probably the best adage for it. But thank you for everything you do. And I know that people really enjoy your commentary and your takes, and you are very much a glass half full person, and that's what everyone loves about you. So thanks for jumping on, mate, because I know it's not easy given the circumstances of yesterday, given the circumstances of what's transpired in the last 3 weeks with our club. Finals are gone. We're only in mid-June, for God's sake.
Well, we've only got Gold Coast and Adelaide away coming, so that's fun.
So who knows what's going to happen in these next 9 weeks. But yeah, it's very good of you to front up, and we love your work.
Oh, easy. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm so glad it's the bye. Thank God for the bye.
Thank God for the bye. What a good place to wrap up. So this week I'm trying to nail down Brad Green to an interview, working through that one with the club. Would be great to get Greeny. Not going to smash him on game plan and things like that. What's the point? We know what the issues are anyway. We're all footy experts, aren't we, at the end of the day? Just want an update on Casey, mainly, and a few of those particulars off the field. So would be great to get Brad if I can. That'll supplement not doing a podcast this Thursday night. I think we've earned a breather. I don't want to talk about it at the moment. I'm a bit washed up and a bit jaded. These last 3 weeks have drained the life out of us Melbourne supporters. So I'm going to put the feet up. If we get Brad, awesome. Would be an absolute honour and privilege to sit down with him and talk all things D's. If we don't, well, you probably won't hear from me for a little bit because I'm going to hang up the microphone temporarily. And Russell Robertson, we're going to do Robbo's rundown. We might do it next week. Again, same thing. He's feeling jaded. He's feeling disappointed. So I don't necessarily think we'll do it this week. We might muster up the courage to do it next week and just have a broader chat about the future, some of the things that Caden and I spoke about today. So that's the lay of the land from a DeeBrief perspective and the content. Massive shout out to everyone who's a DeeBrief premium subscriber. Thank you. Without your hard-earned, wouldn't be able to keep doing what I and the boys love doing. And I've just started recording a series where we go back and look at some of the most famous victories that this football club has experienced. The first one with Russell Howcroft, the 1987 round 22 game out at Whitten Oval. Of course, we won that game. We got into finals for the first time in 23 years. It was bedlam down at Whitten Oval. And Russell Howcroft, the great man, recounted that with me last week. The release of that series will be a while off. We'll record with different talent and players and people who live those experiences in those games. We'll record that over the next 2 months. And it might even just be an off-season thing that we release. And it'd be great to take a trip down memory lane for all Melbourne supporters and relive some of our most famous victories. So there you go. That's it from me. Love you, Kados. And I will see you this week, mate.
Cheers. Beautiful.